1, 2, 3, and... Well, long time ago, I wanted to be a landscape architect. I was in high school and I used to draw downtowns. I was in high school, I used to draw streets. And one day the principal came by. She said, "Hey, you need to be an architect." I said, "What? I do? Okay." I said, "What? I do? Okay." I said, "What? I do? Okay. I'm gonna be an architect." I wasn't ready though to go off to college, so I stayed 2 years at Mesa. Well, I stayed 2 years at Mesa, studying architecture. It was the heydays of the 70s. In fact, it was in 1970. Those were magical 2 years. I saw Jane Fonda at Mesa. We were forbidden to go in art class. I remember she said, "If you go, I will flunk you." I can't imagine that being said today, but we went anyway and nobody flunked. We went anyway and nobody flunked. So 1972, I finished up my AA degree in architecture at San Diego Mesa College. I applied for Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo in architecture. That's right, not landscape yet. They were full. I was not accepted. They were full. I was not accepted. My mom, she said, "I'm not gonna stand for that." She made some phone calls, talked to several people. To this day, I'm not sure what she did. Next thing I knew, I get a letter in the mail. It said, "You've been accepted to Cal Poly in architecture. The only caveat is that you have to go to summer school." So the summer of 72, I went off to Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. I had a 1963 Ford Galaxy Blue. Everything I owned, I put in the car. I had never driven to Cal Poly alone. I remember driving up 101, getting to Santa Maria, half hour away, getting excited, getting close. It was still June, actually. I drove up, saw San Luis Obispo next, 12 exits. San Luis Obispo next, 12 exits. I got off at a street that said Grand Avenue because it said Cal Poly, and I just followed the signs. Went up Grand Avenue, and on the right it said, "Welcome to Cal Poly." On the right it said, "Welcome to Cal Poly." I didn't know where to go. I was only, what, 17, 18? So the first building on the right was a big concrete cubist type building. So I parked in the parking lot and went in there, and as it turned out, that was Yosemite Hall, which is where I was supposed to go. I went in the lobby and there was the resident manager checking people in, and I checked in. Well, I checked in. They told me you were in room Tower 0, second floor, room 7, I think. I went in, opened the door, and there inside was this tall guy. First time I've ever been in a room was just gonna be sleeping with somebody else I did not know. Alone. His name was Dwayne Thompson. His name years ago. He's an architect in Davis, California. Done pretty well for himself. Always worked on his own. Did every drawing by himself. And now, it's 2014. Shit. 44 years since high school. Arguably, this kind of song was popular. Remember Tom Paxton did it? What's the matter with you, baby? Well, I went down to Vietnam. I thought I'd go and see Saigon. Remember that song? Same kind of basic chords. Well, I went to Cal Poly in architecture then. With the 1 year to go, I went to a conference at Cal Poly Pomona. Not a conference, actually. It was visiting some friends, and it turned out there was a conference of landscape architects. It was a La Bash conference, national conference. They were showing me around the campus, and they opened the doors to this big hall. The doors to this big hall. As soon as I walked in, there on stage was this old man with a cane. He told me, it seemed right to my face. The whole room was quiet. He said, imagine the earth as a canvas. Imagine the earth as a canvas. He said, architects put dots on the canvas. Engineers connect the dots. But you are the only ones who can paint the entire canvas. The entire canvas. I didn't know back then, but that was Roberto Burle Marx, a famous Brazilian landscape architect. I didn't even know what landscape architecture was, but I started realizing that what makes a city great is not the buildings, but what happens between them. But what happens between them. So I changed my major. I told my mom I was gonna be a landscape architect. She started to cry. She thought I was gonna have a pickup truck and a wheelbarrow. She started to cry. She said, you went to college to be a gardener. No, mama, it's not what you think. And I'm not sure, actually, all these years later, till she died last year, that she really understood what I did. But I do know that when I went through all her stuff after she died, every newspaper article, every report card, every picture that I was in, she had in a big box, which I now have in my house. As you can tell, we live by the flight path of the airport in South Park, so sometimes you will hear the jets in the background. Here I am in South Park. Here I am in South Park. 62 years old. I love what I do, but it kind of sounds good to 2-day weekend, 3-day weekend, and a 4-day weekend, 5-day weekend, 6-day weekend. Then a 7-day weekend, which kind of means I guess you retire. I'm actually thinking about that more and more. I've been working a lot, pretty hard my whole life, pretty proud of what I did. Now I'm married to a beautiful, gorgeous redhead. I am free.